All right, welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting. I am Brian Glenn. Thanks so much for joining us today. Lots in the news, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first off, conservative influencers have really taken over social media, and they've gained a lot of popularity, especially over the last 4 years. But are they being censored and demonetized? We'll talk to one about that. And just recently, Mark Cuban announced they will no longer play the National Anthem prior to a home game there at American Airlines Center. What is the fallout from that? We'll talk to a crisis leadership expert about that and more. And lastly, you know him for his music and his support for Donald Trump. Bryson Gray will join us here in the show to talk about his latest single. Can't wait to meet that guy. All right, but first, social media, everyone's got it. It seems like everyone has an account and everyone has a hot take. Joining us now is conservative influencer Alexandra Lains to weigh in on being a conservative on social media and what does that really mean when it comes to monetization of your content. First of all, welcome to the show.
Hello, Brian. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to spend a couple minutes of my day with you.
There you go. Okay, let's first get into your very first political post. I know you've been on Instagram for a while and social media for a while, but when did you decide to go from posting about your food at lunch to your political hot take?
Yeah, that's literally how it happened too. It was about a year ago. I actually became a Turning Point ambassador, and that was my first post on my main feed. But I would throw in little political articles that I would post about on my Instagram story, you know, sneakily. And then eventually I just made the switch and I went full-blown politics.
What is some of the feedback that you get? I know on my social media, I have my number of supporters, but I also have my number of haters as well. And I can only imagine being a conservative female that supports the Second Amendment and all of our, you know, basically the U.S. Constitution. You've got to receive your fair share of hate mail.
Oh, I've never had an influx of hate the way that I do coming out as basically coming out as a conservative on social media. They go from wishing me death to wishing my husband death, and my husband's in the military, so that hits me more than, you know, the personal attacks that they have against me. But it's just crazy the amount of energy that they will basically stir up just to bring someone down for voting for someone that they didn't, for thinking differently than they do, for going against the grain, for not following the mob. But, you know, I always like to tell myself that their opinion will never cut me a check. And I refuse to be remembered as a girl that kept her mouth shut in order to make someone more comfortable. I'm much stronger than that. I will never turn down my ambition because someone is uncomfortable with the volume. And if that brings more hate my way, then keep it coming.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of censorship in regards to social media. Your latest post here that you have up, and we'll play that in just a second, you addressed how other platforms are demonetizing your content. Let's take a listen.
You know, if I wanted my life to be easy, I would just fake being a liberal. TikTok permanently banned me from the Creator Fund, which means I can no longer make money off my videos. It also means the hundreds of dollars that I've already made, I can no longer access. In case you were unaware, someone stating things that you don't agree with doesn't automatically mean they broke a guideline. But apparently we can't have diversity of thought in this damn country anymore. These apps are so hypersexualized. You have 15-year-old girls twerking half naked, liberals telling conservatives to kill themselves, creators from other countries bullying Americans for reasons, I don't know, maybe focus on your own country's politics for once. But God forbid we say anything about women and periods, or that our troops were mistreated, or that we love Jesus, it gets taken down. The left controls everything, and let me tell you, it is not a good look when you continue to silence those that tell the truth and lock yourselves in your own echo chamber because you can't handle differing viewpoints. You cannot report everything that hurts your feelings for the rest of your life. Learn to grow up and comprehend that people think differently. That is a reason why this country was so great. Freedom to have your own opinions. Let's get back to that.
And I think we do need to get back to that, Alexandra, because we're not having conversations anymore. We're having, if you don't agree with my perspective, then I'm just going to basically make you go away. And we need to have these open dialogues. You bring up a very good point in that video, by the way, about there's so much questionable content right now on the internet. But why is there such a vicious attack towards being a conservative and being a support for Donald Trump? It seems like there's much more evil things out there to direct your focus to.
Oh, there is 100%. You have these social media platforms that still have porn on their site in comparison to when someone says that they love Jesus or posting a Bible verse and it gets taken down. I know of countless of accounts, countless of people that told me that they've posted a Bible verse on their Instagram and then it got flagged. There's no reason for that at all. You know, we want, and this is the party, the left is the party that talks about diversity, but they won't talk about diversity of thought. It doesn't happen in their realm. And it's absolutely insane. And I always like to bring this point up that if you have to silence your opposition, you no longer have a good point. And that's exactly what it is. They can't talk about anything because everything runs off of emotions and everything hurts their feelings. And if something hurts their feelings, even if it's something about Jesus or something about loving this country, then they have to shut you down. And that includes demonetizing your videos and making sure that you can't make money off of your content.
And you still have money to be collected from your videos on TikTok. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do. I have about over $500 that I still should have collected from TikTok that now they will not allow me to have access because my account apparently broke too many community guidelines. But it's just funny because they fail to ever tell me what guidelines I've ever broken.
Yeah, I know here at Right Side, we have to really tiptoe around certain subjects because there's platforms that will absolutely take you down. And of course, that limits our ability to reach all of our audiences out there. All right, so what is in the future for you? I mean, you're very politically active about your faith and your politics and your love of country. And of course, you have a family background in serving your country. Is politics in your future?
You know, I've had a lot of people in my comments being like, tell me when you run for president or you should run for something. And I definitely feel like I could maybe run for Congress one day or something. But honestly, right now, I'm only 25 and I don't see myself becoming a politician. I'm enjoying, talking about my opinions and commentating politically, maybe being more of a successful political commentator, maybe being more of a Candace Owens or what Tommy Loren does, or, something to that realm I think would be really cool. But at the end of the day, I just want to be able to inspire others and open people's minds. And if that's speaking at events or helping a candidate campaign or whatever that may be, then I'm down for whatever opportunities come my way. It's in God's hands, and whatever he has in store for me in my life, I'm down for.
You mentioned two very successful conservative ladies with Candace and Tommy. Are they big influences with you as far as their thought and some of your political beliefs?
Yeah, absolutely. I've watched both of them as soon as they came on the scene. And I think I've actually gotten a lot of people comment on my videos saying that I remind them a lot of those two women. And it's a great compliment because they're both strong, they're both passionate, and they're both unapologetically themselves. And they're not afraid to say what they feel, how they feel it. And it's definitely been a driving force for me and, how I started commentating politically.
Living Life Like Alex is her Instagram account. Go check it out. Of course, are you on Twitter and Facebook as well?
I am on Twitter at Real Alex Lains, and it's spelled Lains. I know my last name can be complicated sometimes. And I'm also on Facebook at Real Alex Lains as well.
There you go. Go follow her and support these conservative commentators, as you never know when your platform might get taken down. Hopefully it doesn't, and you can continue to spread all the good news that you're all about. Hey, we really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a good day, Brian.
Thank you. Hey, coming up, Mark Cuban has announced they will not play the national anthem before a Dallas Mavericks home game. What's your thoughts on that? One crisis leadership expert will weigh in on the after effects of that decision. That's coming up. Earlier, Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, announced that they were no longer going to play the national anthem before the games this season. Now, granted, they have played 20-plus home games, and they have not played it. But as of now and moving forward, they will continue not to play the national anthem. Weighing in on that and what the repercussions can come from this is Rob Weinhold. He's a crisis leadership expert to talk about what will happen after this announcement. Thanks for joining us. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, at this juncture, I think what people are missing is the why directly from Mark Cuban. Look, some will praise the decision, others will think it's disgraceful, and many others will be down the middle in terms of believing that he has the right to make whatever decision he wants to, and they won't change their behavior one way or the other. What I know about professional sports is there's generally 4 revenue streams: ticket sales, sponsorships, food and beverage, and merchandise. And so the question is, what's the downstream impact? So from a ticket sales standpoint, fans have the decision to make. If they don't like what they see or the decisions that are made, they'll vote with their feet. Others, it may ingratiate them to the team a little bit more. Sponsors will either double down on their investment or take their foot off the gas, or frankly, not even change their investment levels. F&B vendors as well as merchandisers, will again make their own decisions. But I can tell you at the very core, I think the economics around that decision will be first and foremost. And look, listen, Mark Cuban's a smart guy. He certainly wouldn't have done this without considering the ramifications. And Cuban, like owners of many big companies around the country, and frankly, many boardrooms right now, are taking a strong stance in the area of social and racial justice. And corporate social responsibility is alive and well. And I think leaders in today's commercial spaces are expected to have a voice and expected to render their opinion because of the interconnectivity with their client bases.
And of course, last year across pretty much every major sport, racial injustice was addressed by the teams, by the players, and the actions. Heck, here in Dallas, Tyler Sagan of Dallas Stars took a knee during the anthem. A lot of people said they would never watch a game again, and of course, until the Dallas Stars went to the Stanley Cup. But I'm sure a lot of those people were sitting right back in front of the television watching. But is his obligation more to the fans who buy the tickets or the players who play for him? Because I really think a simple comment like, you know what, you guys can jump on your platform, you can promote any agenda that you want, but while you play basketball, we're going to stand up for the national anthem. And maybe that conversation could have really eliminated any type of controversy that they had last year during all of this. So what should he do in order to address any criticism that's going to come from the public after this?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of or. I think it's a matter of and. So the players and those who come to the game and vendors and those who are vested in the NBA and other teams will take a hard look at what Mark Cuban is doing and decide, is this right for us or not? Frankly, other professional sports teams. And we work with large public companies all the way down to small restaurateurs and individuals. And your point about people watching games, there were those a couple of years ago who said, listen, I'll never watch an NFL game again. But those very people were rooting in the Super Bowl this time around. There are those who protest big commercial boxes in their neighborhoods, whether it's the building of a Walmart or some other big brand, and they'll go ahead and they'll protest for years, and all of a sudden the doors open and they're the first ones in and shopping. So listen, this is a moment in time, and I think that Mark Cuban is, for whatever reason, is making this decision, potentially on behalf of the players, on behalf of his own personal thoughts. And in any organization, you have to evaluate the downstream effect of your micro communities. Look, we always say that crises cost 4 things: time, money, customers, and eventually your career. And there's many examples of this. And I'm not saying that Mark Cuban is in that realm right now, but every decision that is made, every post that is made, every interview that is given has an impact within the court of public opinion, and that court renders judgment very quickly.
Okay, last question, Rob. If he gets a lot of pushback from the public and advertisers on this, could he walk that statement back and maybe release a statement that he kind of overstepped that and maybe over-exaggerated that comment? Would you suggest that if he does get major pushback from the players, perhaps, that want to stand and they want the anthem, or advertisers and fans?
Look, I mean, this is a personal decision that he's going to have to make. And he's dropping a major marker right now and saying, this is what we're doing. And if the blowback is very significant, he has to make a decision. What's best for his life as he looks in the mirror? What's best for those that depend on him from a business standpoint? But I think it's too early to tell. And I think that's exactly why he needs to get out there right away and answer the question of why, and explain to the various micro communities that are in his realm as to why this decision was made. Look, regardless of what decision is made, it's going to be controversial, and not everyone's going to line up behind it. And I think what people don't like are those who flip-flop on decisions or just express themselves right down the middle. So if he takes a stand by it, let the chips fall where they may. And if he's trying to advance a cause, good for him. And I think that everybody has a right in this country to go ahead and express their point of view. But again, just because you have a right to express your point of view, you have to remember that those who align with your brand also have a right to express their point of view, and they can do that in many different ways.
We'll see how this plays out. And of course, we invite Mark Cuban to come on the show and talk about that as well. Currently, the Mavericks are 11-14. So we'll see how this turnaround happens after this. Rob Weinhold, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's time to fight, and it don't matter if you're black or white, and I know it's gonna take some sacrifice, but this is about our God-given right. 1776 gang in the building, we ready to fight, we don't care about your feelings. They taking our freedom, saying that we should be healing.
All right, the single is called Time to Fight. That is from Bryson Gray. That is the latest single off his latest album that just dropped this past Friday. So what is it like to be a musician, especially right now in this hypercultural world that we live in? Be a musician and also be a conservative and a supporter of Donald Trump. Joining us now is Bryson Gray to talk about this and a whole lot more. First of all, welcome. We appreciate it. Congratulations on all the success you've had so far on this album drop.
Thank you so much, man. Just glad to be on. I'm happy to be here, man. And being a conservative in the music industry is hard, would be hard for most, but as a person who doesn't really care what other people think, it's perfect for me.
There you go. Well, let's talk about your decision to kind of dip your toe in politics. Have you always followed politics, or is this something that has kind of opened your eyes the last 4 or 5 years?
I've always been controversial, but I didn't really know about politics a lot until I started acting like I was a Bernie supporter. Then I was arguing with Bernie supporters because they called me a fake Bernie supporter. Then I started researching and realized I was a fake Bernie supporter because I didn't agree with anything he talked about. Then I started watching Ted Cruz. But really, after the debates, I was like, yeah, Donald Trump wiped the floor of everybody, and he talked in common sense. He wasn't a lifelong politician, and I connected more with him on a personal level. So
it's interesting you said that, because I know the walkaway movement by Brandon Straka has really done that as well and opened up a lot of people's eyes that traditionally would have not voted or even considered voting for a Republican candidate and has walked away from the Democratic Party. Okay, let's talk about your music. When was the first time you decided, you know what? I want to be a musician. I want to record and write music. How old were you when that happened?
No exaggeration, and I know this is going to sound like a weird answer, but I don't even remember my life before I was writing music. So, like, as long as I've been aware of myself, I've been writing music. Like, I have songs online from when I was 12, 9, before. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to a little bit of that Time to Fight single that we played on the open. Let's take a listen.
Traders think they won, but them Patriots coming. You fall for anything if you don't stand for something. Some people say it's time to fight, but it ain't about nothing, yeah. And I only about it, God can't about it, nothing else. Yeah, it's time to fight, and it don't matter if you black or white. And I know it's gonna take some sacrifice, but this is about our God-given right. Yeah, it's time to fight, and it don't matter if you black or white. And I know it's gonna take some sacrifice, but this is about our God-given rights.
All right, you talk a lot about love of country, of course, your Second Amendment rights. You talk a lot about your faith openly. Let's talk about that and how, perhaps you're opening the eyes to a lot of people that have not maybe traditionally looked at their faith as something they can come back and rely on.
Well, I get a lot of messages of people telling me that after listening to me and listen to my music, it makes them like look at their faith differently and really dig into it. Because I think a lot of people just go through the motions, mainly based on family tradition. Like their mother was a Christian, their grandparents was a Christian, so they're going to be a Christian. And it's like a lot of times people don't really know what being a Christian actually means. And it comes with persecution, especially now. It comes with a lot of persecution from the left and right. So you can't rely on political differences. You can really only rely on people that are also in Christ. So, I mean, that's my favorite thing to talk about, actually.
Yeah, and you said this earlier about you didn't really care what other opinions were in your industry. How much feedback do you get from other artists in your genre that say, hey, what are you doing supporting this Donald Trump guy?
I was getting that before I even made political music. People were telling me that, talking about conservative views was going to kill my music career. And that's what led me to start making political music anyway, because I do what I want, as long as I'm not disrespecting Christ. And so, I mean, other people in the music industry, they can't stand it. They don't like it. I don't get added to no Spotify playlist. I don't get added to no huge production. I don't get no big promotion. It's really just me, people that support me. And that's pretty much all it is right now because of my views.
Well, that brings me to my next topic of cancel culture. We've seen other musicians go through just this. Tommy Vex, frontman of Bad Wolves, kind of got pressured out, if you will, to step aside. That doesn't affect you at all, right? I know your distribution is kind of limited, but if we want to understand, this single's doing very well on certain streaming platforms. Let's promote those.
Yeah, so my album 1776 and God Wins are both still in the top 5 on iTunes and Amazon right now. And I'm 100% independent. I shoot my own, edit my own videos. I record and edit my own music. So I don't have to worry about, like, basically in the music industry sense, I can't be canceled unless the streaming platforms take me off or something.
Yeah, I know that I've seen you perform at various Trump rallies and other conservative events, and fans love you. And you talk about this crossover between black and white. You know, we all love our country, right? We all love, family, God, and everything that, basically our country represents. Is music the one tool that can bring us all together, no matter where you're from, no matter what your sex, your gender, your anything? Is that what we're needing right now?
I think it is, because especially rap music, because rap music is the most popular genre in the country right now. And everybody listens to it. I don't care what color you are. I don't care, honestly, what age you are now. A lot of people listen to it. But the problem is what's being promoted through rap music is degeneracy and disgusting behavior that's all ungodly. So people like me, Tyson James, Forgiato Blow, and others, we're trying to come in and actually change that and shift it. Now, I know my music is a little harsh and more controversial, so so if my music is like black coffee, but it still has the same goal.
I love it. All right, so let's give our viewers one last opportunity to find your music, and how would they download it, and more importantly, how can they support you financially in all your musical endeavors?
If you want to get to music, get it on iTunes or Amazon. Just type in Bryson Gray, and my albums will come up. In 1776 and God Wins are the main albums. If you want a signed physical copy, I think we have a few left on my website, which is BrysonCreates.com. And if you want to support me, I don't have a way to financially support me, but if you want me to be able to contact you about my music without social media, then you can text BGRAY to 855-909-1389, because I don't know how long I'm gonna be on social media anyway. So. That's
a good strategy there. Stay with us real quickly. Also, if you're in the South Florida area, you can join us on President's Day, as there is a flag-waving Patriots event that we want to invite you guys out to do. It's there in West Palm Beach. I think we might have a graphic on the screen for you. Take a look at that. But join us for there and celebrate President's Day. And, of course, that is just outside the Mar-a-Lago area there for President Trump, or their former President Trump, I should say. So go out there and support that as well. Do you have a tour at all, Bryson, that you're going to be going on, or how could people see you perform?
I'm trying to set up a tour. There are a few people trying to book me, but a lot of places are still acting weird because of COVID restrictions.
Sure.
But I'm trying to set up a tour with all the other conservative hip hop artists. Because we really have to come together and change culture. It can't be one person. It has to be many of us. So I'm hopefully soon.
There you go. Bryson Gray, thank you so much for your time today. And, it is time to fight and keep the good faith, my friend. Thank you. All right, that wraps it up for today's show. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media. And, of course, big plans coming up with additional platforms you can watch all this content on. Stay tuned to our social media platforms as that. And a reminder, if you're in South Florida, join us for a flag-waving patriotic event there in West Palm Beach to support our president, former President Trump, I should say. A lot of presidents in your hearts, I know. But anyway, join us there in supporting him on this very historic day. Until next time, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you.